I stopped trying after weeks of not tonight. Here's what happened next. Let's start the story. When you realize that silence can be more devastating than screaming, that's when you know your marriage is over. That's exactly what happened to me on a Wednesday night in late September. My wife didn't just reject me. She trained me to stop trying, then celebrated when I finally gave up. Let me take you back to that Wednesday night, September 27th, a perfectly normal evening in our Federal Hill Row house in Baltimore. We both got home from work around 6 o'clock. I'm a software engineer. She's a marketing manager. We made dinner together, talked about our days, watched some TV. Everything seemed fine, normal, the kind of nightmares couples have all the time. Around 10:45, we headed upstairs to bed. I wasn't planning anything dramatic. Just reached over while she was setting her alarm, touched her shoulder, gently kissed the back of her neck. Simple affection, the kind of thing that happens naturally when you're married to someone you love. Her response was immediate. Not tonight, Colin. I'm just not feeling it. I backed off right away. Of course, I understand. I rolled to my side of the bed, gave her space. She seemed relieved, settled into her pillow, and was asleep within 15 minutes. Meanwhile, I lay there staring at the ceiling, doing mental math I really didn't want to be doing. That was the fourth rejection in recent days. Monday night, too tired. Tuesday, headache. And there'd been more before that. Thursday, the previous week, stressed from work. And on and on. When was the last time we'd actually been intimate? I counted back. 6 weeks. 6 full weeks. That's when the real counting started. Not because I'm petty or obsessive, but because I needed to know if what I was feeling was real, or if I was being unreasonable. So, I started paying attention. Real attention, not in a creepy way, just with the awareness of a man who suspected he might be getting played in his own home. The next night, Thursday, I tried again. We just finished watching a comedy that had us both laughing. The mood was light, easy. We were both in good spirits. Seemed like the right time. I leaned over, kissed her. She kissed me back for about 3 seconds, then pulled away. I have an early client call tomorrow. I need good sleep tonight. Melissa had client calls every week, multiple times a week actually. It had never been an issue before, but I said okay. Rolled over and added it to my mental tally. 5 rejections in 8 days. Saturday came around. Weekend, no work the next day. No excuse about early meetings. I actually put in effort that night. Cooked a nice dinner. Opened a bottle of wine we'd been saving. Tried to create a romantic atmosphere. We had a great evening. Talked, laughed, enjoyed each other's company. When we got to bed around 9:30, I made my move. Gentle, affectionate, respectful. I ate too much. I feel bloated and uncomfortable. She'd eaten a normal portion, same amount she always ate. Seemed perfectly fine all evening. But once again, I accepted it. Told myself maybe she really was uncomfortable. Maybe I was being too sensitive. Maybe this was normal, and I was overthinking it. Except it wasn't normal. And I wasn't overthinking it. Tuesday, October 3rd. We had a quiet evening. Nothing stressful, nothing unusual. Got ready for bed around 10 o'clock. I tried cuddling up to her, just seeing where it might lead. Not tonight. I'm getting a headache. She didn't take any medicine. Didn't mention the headache again. 20 minutes later, she was sound asleep, breathing peacefully. No sign of any pain or discomfort whatsoever. That was 7 rejections in less than 2 weeks. Almost 7 weeks without intimacy. And I was starting to see the pattern clearly now. Friday, October 6th, I decided to be direct about it. Not pushy, not aggressive, just honest. It had been over 6 weeks at that point. That's not normal for us, for any marriage. Really, unless both people are on the same page about it, which we clearly weren't. Melissa, it's been a while. I miss being close to you. Can we not make this a thing? I'm just stressed with the campaign launch. The campaign had launched 3 weeks earlier. She told me it went great, said the client was thrilled. Stress from a successful project that ended weeks ago. That was the excuse. But here's what really got me. She didn't just reject me. She made me feel guilty for even bringing it up, for making it a thing, like I was the problem for wanting intimacy with my own wife. Sunday afternoon, October 8th. I tried a different approach. Spontaneous, playful during the daytime. We used to love lazy Sunday afternoons together. It was kind of our thing early in the marriage. Colin, seriously, it's the middle of the day. That's weird. Weird? She called something we used to do regularly weird. Like, I'd suggested something bizarre instead of something that used to make us both happy. Wednesday, October 11th, I'd had enough of tiptoeing around it. 8 weeks, that's how long it had been. I needed to know if something was actually wrong. Melissa, I need to ask, is there something going on? It's been almost 2 months now. If there's a problem, I want to fix it. You're putting too much pressure on this. That's why I don't want to. There it was, my fault. I was creating pressure by wanting intimacy with my wife after 8 weeks. I was the problem, not the 8 weeks of rejection, me. Next night, Thursday, October 12th, I tried to be as low pressure as possible. Didn't mention anything about how long it had been. Didn't make it a big deal. Just a simple casual approach. I'm exhausted. Can we please just sleep? She'd stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning the previous night binge watching some show on Netflix. But tonight she was too exhausted. Right. Saturday morning, October 14th. Fresh start to the day. Both well rested. Morning intimacy used to be something we both enjoyed. I haven't even had coffee yet. Way too early. 9:30 in the morning was too early. The middle of the day was weird. Nighttime she was too tired. Apparently, there was no acceptable time anymore. That night, we went out for a nice dinner at Timp Street Oyster House in Fells Point. Date night, trying to reconnect, trying to do everything right. We had a great time. Talked, laughed, held hands across the table. For a moment, I thought maybe we'd turned a corner. We got home around 10 o'clock. I tried one more time. Not tonight. Let's not force it. Okay. And that's when I made my decision. I didn't argue, didn't get upset, didn't try to convince her. I just said, okay, and rolled over to my side of the bed. But inside, something fundamental had shifted. I was done initiating, done trying, done setting myself up for rejection. If she wanted intimacy in this marriage, she was going to have to be the one to make it happen because I was finished. 9 rejections over 17 days, almost 8 weeks, without any physical connection beyond the occasional hug, hello, or goodbye. And every single time I brought it up, somehow it became my fault. I was too demanding. I was creating pressure. I was making it weird. So, I stopped completely. The next day was Sunday, October 15th. I was pleasant, polite, helpful around the house. We ran errands together, grabbed lunch, came home, and watched a movie. Normal married couple stuff except I kept my distance. No affectionate touches. No cuddling during the movie. No hints or attempts at anything more. Melissa didn't notice. She seemed perfectly comfortable with the new dynamic. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday passed the same way. We coexisted, talked about work, made plans for the weekend, discussed what to have for dinner, but I maintained an emotional distance. Not cold, not angry, just neutral, like roommates who got along well. She still didn't notice. Thursday night, we were watching TV on the couch. Melissa casually put her feet in my lap. Something she did all the time when we were relaxed together. Normally, I would have given her a foot rub, maybe let my hands wander up her legs, created some kind of connection. This time, I just accepted her feet being there. Didn't massage them, didn't do anything. Just let them rest. She didn't react, didn't seem to care, just kept watching TV, perfectly content. That's when I realized something. She was comfortable with me being physically present but emotionally distant. She didn't want connection. She wanted companionship without intimacy. A roommate who paid half the bills. Sunday, October 22nd. We spent the entire day together. Went to brunch at a place she'd been wanting to try. Walked around the inner harbor. Enjoyed the fall weather. Came home, made dinner, watched a movie. A full day together as a married couple. We held hands briefly while walking. That was it. That was the extent of our physical affection for an entire day spent together. And Melissa seemed perfectly happy with that arrangement. I felt like I was living with a stranger who happened to wear my wife's face. By Thursday, October 26th, I'd been running this experiment for almost 2 full weeks. 2 weeks of zero initiation from me. Zero response from her. 2 weeks of pleasant distance. 2 weeks of her not noticing or caring that her husband had completely withdrawn emotionally. We were in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner. She was in a great mood, actually humming while loading the dishwasher. She started talking about weekend plans, some festival happening in Federal Hill. That sounds fun, we should go. Then she said something that changed everything. You know, I feel like we've been getting along really well lately. I stopped drawing the plate in my hands. Yeah, what's different? I don't know. You just seem more relaxed, less tense. She was right. I was more relaxed because I had stopped caring. I had stopped hoping. I had stopped setting myself up for rejection. Of course, I seemed more relaxed. It's nice. This is how it should be. I felt those words hit me like a physical blow. This is how it should be. A marriage where I don't try, where I don't pursue her, where I maintain friendly distance and never push for actual intimacy. What do you mean? She smiled at me. Actually smiled. When we're not all focused on that other stuff, we're actually good together. See, this is how it should be. That other stuff. She meant intimacy. She meant the physical connection that's supposed to be part of marriage. She'd reduced it to that other stuff like it was some annoying obligation she was glad to be rid of. And she was celebrating. She was happy that I had given up. I managed to keep my face neutral. Yeah, I guess you're right, but inside, everything crystallized. She didn't want a husband. She wanted a pleasant roommate who didn't make demands. And she thought I had accepted that role. Thought I was happy with it. She had no idea what she had just revealed. That night, after she fell asleep, I lay awake planning my exit. The next day, Friday, I spent my lunch break researching divorce attorneys in Baltimore. Made some calls, found one who could meet with me. Monday afternoon after work, I drove around Canton looking at apartments. Found a furnished one-bedroom available for immediate move-in, month-to-month lease. Called the landlord. Scheduled a viewing for Saturday morning. Saturday, October 28th, I saw the apartment. Small, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Just mine. A place where I wouldn't be rejected. Wouldn't be made to feel like my completely normal desires were somehow wrong or demanding or weird. I signed the lease that afternoon, told the landlord I'd move in Monday. Then I called my buddy Brian, told him what was happening. He was shocked at first. Couldn't believe it had gotten this bad. But when I laid out the timeline, the rejections, the excuses, and especially Melissa's comment about how things should be, he got it. Man, she actually said that she's happier when you don't try. Those were her exact words. That's cold. What are you going to do? I'm leaving tomorrow. Tomorrow? Don't you think you should talk to her first? I'm going to talk to her right before I leave. I spent that evening packing 2 suitcases while Melissa was out with friends. Took enough clothes for a couple weeks. Put the suitcases in my car trunk. Came back inside and waited. Sunday morning, October 29th, the day everything ended. Melissa slept in. Woke up around 10 o'clock. Came downstairs in her pajamas looking relaxed and happy. Made herself coffee. Started scrolling through her phone at the kitchen table. I watched her for a minute, completely absorbed in whatever was on that screen, perfectly content in her little bubble. She looked up when I sat down across from her. Morning.
Sleep well, Melissa.
We need to talk. She set her phone down, gave me her attention. Okay, what's up? I'm moving out tomorrow. The confusion on her face would have been funny if this wasn't so serious. She actually laughed like I had made some kind of joke she didn't get. What? What are you talking about? I'm leaving. I've already found an apartment in Canton. I've packed. I'm moving out tomorrow. Is this some kind of joke? Colin, what's going on? You told me Thursday how things should be between us. I listened when we were talking in the kitchen. You said this is how it should be when we're not focused on that other stuff. When I've stopped trying, Colin, I just meant we've been fighting less. We haven't been fighting because I gave up. I stopped initiating. I stopped trying to be intimate with my own wife. And you celebrated that. That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. You were happier when I stopped wanting you. You're twisting my words. 2 weeks, Melissa. I didn't touch you once. Didn't try anything. And you were the happiest you had been in months. You literally smiled and told me that's how it should be. I just like that. There's no pressure. There hasn't been pressure. I've been patient for 8 weeks. 9 rejections in 17 days. I counted every single one. Her face changed. Then the confusion shifted to defensiveness. You were counting. I was paying attention. There's a difference. So what? You're leaving because we haven't had sex enough. I'm leaving because you don't want me and you're happy about it. That's not true. You literally smiled and said this is how it should be when I stopped trying. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? She didn't answer. Just stared at me, probably trying to figure out how to reframe what she'd said, how to make it sound different than it obviously was. That's what I thought. Colin, you're being dramatic. Every marriage goes through phases. This isn't a phase. This is who you are. You want a roommate, not a husband. That's not fair. What's not fair is 8 weeks of rejections. What's not fair is training me to stop trying, then celebrating when I do. I never trained you. Every excuse, every rejection, every night, you were relieved when I rolled over and gave up. You trained me perfectly. And Thursday night you told me how happy you are with the results. So, this is it. You're just leaving. You already left this marriage, Melissa. You checked out months ago. I'm just making it official. We can fix this.
Fix what?
You don't think anything is broken. You're happy with how things are. You said so yourself. I'm not happy with you leaving, but you were. Happy with me giving up. She started crying then. Real tears, the kind that might have moved me a few weeks ago, but I cried myself to sleep too many nights after being rejected. I had felt the pain of being unwanted by my own wife for too long. Her tears now didn't change anything. Please don't do this. You already did it. I'm just accepting it. Can we please just talk about this? We are talking, and you still haven't said you actually want me. You're just upset I'm leaving. The silence that followed told me everything I needed to know. She couldn't say it. Couldn't even pretend to want the intimacy she'd been rejecting for months. She just didn't want the inconvenience of me leaving. That's the answer I needed. I'll be back this week for the rest of my stuff. Colin, wait. I've waited long enough, Melissa. 8 weeks, 9 rejections. 2 weeks of you not noticing I'd completely withdrawn. I'm done waiting. I walked out of that kitchen, out of that house, and didn't look back. Got in my suitcases were already packed and drove to my new apartment in Canton, 3 miles away from the woman I'd married. But it felt like a different universe. A universe where I didn't have to brace myself for rejection every single night. Where I didn't have to question whether wanting intimacy with my spouse made me demanding or weird or too much. Where I could just exist without constantly wondering what was wrong with me. Monday morning, I met with the divorce attorney at 2. He asked the standard questions. Was I sure? Have we tried counseling? Was there any chance of reconciliation? I'm absolutely sure. We don't need counseling. And no, there's no chance. He walked me through the process. Maryland's no-fault divorce is pretty straightforward when there's no kids and minimal shared assets. We could have this done in a few months. Let's file today. He seemed surprised by how decisive I was, but he drew up the papers. I signed them. He said he would contact Melissa's attorney once. Pray, she retained one. My phone had been blowing up all morning. 7 missed calls from Melissa, a dozen texts. I finally responded with one message. Papers are filed. Attorney will contact you. Tuesday, she showed up at my workplace. The receptionist called my desk, said my wife was in the lobby asking to see me. I went down more out of curiosity than anything else. Melissa looked terrible. Eyes red, makeup smudged, clearly hadn't slept. Part of me felt bad, but the larger part remembered 9 rejections in 17 days. Remembered her smile when she said, "This is how it should be. We need to talk about this properly." We did talk. You told me how you wanted things. I'm giving you exactly that. A life where nobody pressures you for that other stuff. I never said I wanted a divorce. You said you wanted a marriage with no intimacy. Same thing. That's not what I said. It's what you meant. It's what you showed me every single night for 2 months. Security was watching us now. Other people were. Staring. I didn't want to do this here in my workplace in front of colleagues. I need to get back to work. Please don't come here again. Colin, Melissa, go home. Talk to a lawyer. Sign the papers. Let's just make this as easy as possible. I walked back to the elevators, left her standing in the lobby, felt bad about it for maybe 30 seconds. Then I remembered that I'd made myself vulnerable to her for 8 weeks straight, and she'd rejected me every single time without a second thought. Wednesday, she sent an email 2,000 words about how stressed she'd been with work, how she didn't realize it had gotten this bad, how she'd work on it if I just give her another chance. Promised she'd try harder, do better, make more effort. I read it once, noticed she never actually apologized for the rejections. Never acknowledged what she'd said about how things should be. Never admitted that she'd been happy when I stopped trying. Just excuses and promises to try harder at something she clearly didn't want. I didn't respond. Thursday, I went back to the house to pick up more of my belongings. Melissa was there waiting. She'd clearly prepared for this. Had things she wanted to say. Did you read my email? I did. And I'm still leaving. You're not even going to try? You're not even willing to work on this? I tried for 8 weeks. Melissa, you didn't notice. You didn't care. And when I stopped, you celebrated. There's nothing to work on. This is who you are." She broke down, crying again, big, from heaving sobs that echoed through the house. I kept packing my stuff, methodical and calm. I'd run out of emotional reactions to her tears. "You've changed. This isn't who you are." I accepted reality. "That's all. You should try it sometime." I loaded 3 boxes into my car and left. Didn't hug her goodbye. Didn't comfort her. Didn't promise to stay in touch. Just left. Friday, her attorney contacted mine. She wanted to contest the divorce, wanted us to try counseling first. My response through the attorney was simple. "Number." She sent a text that afternoon. "You've changed. You're being cruel." I responded one last time. "I've accepted reality. You should too." Then I muted her number. Didn't block it, just muted it. Let her send whatever messages she wanted. I just wouldn't see them unless I chose to look. The first 2 weeks after I moved out were strange. I'd wake up in my Canton apartment and forget where I was for a second. Then I'd remember, and instead of dread, I'd feel relief. Number. Wondering if tonight would be another rejection. No walking on eggshells trying to figure out the right time or the right approach, or the right words that might finally get through to her. Just peace. I threw myself into work, got a promotion within a month, started going to the gym regularly. Something I'd let slide during the marriage. Reconnected with old friends I'd lost touch with. Started actually enjoying my life again, instead of constantly analyzing what I was doing wrong in my marriage. Brian kept me updated on what Melissa was doing, even though I didn't ask. She'd started dating someone new already, some guy named Scott she'd met through work. Posted constantly on social media about new beginnings and fresh starts. I felt nothing about it. No jealousy, no anger, not even satisfaction. Just indifference. I genuinely moved on. 3 months later in February, our divorce was finalized. Quick and clean, just like the attorney had promised. We split our minimal assets. She kept the I kept my car and my freedom. Brian texted me the day it was official. "You okay, man? Better than I've been in a year." And I meant it. The relief was overwhelming. No more wondering if I was doing something wrong, if I was too demanding, if my completely normal desires were somehow abnormal. I was free. In April, I met Jennifer at a tech industry mixer. She was a UX designer, 28, sharp and funny, and present in a way Melissa never was. We started talking about a mutual project challenge. Ended up chatting for 2 hours. She asked for my number. I gave it to her. We went out the next weekend. The difference was stark from the first date. Jennifer was engaged, interested, asked questions, and actually listened to the answers. When we kissed goodnight, she leaned into it, made it clear she wanted it too. No pulling away, no excuses, no making me feel like I was imposing. Second date, she invited me back to her place. No games, no ambiguity, just 2 adults who were attracted to each other acting on it. Afterward, lying there next to her, I realized what I'd been missing. Not just the physical stuff, but the feeling of being wanted, of someone choosing me, actively wanting me there. I'd forgotten what that felt like. We kept seeing each other. Nothing too serious at first, just enjoying each other's company. But it grew into something real pretty quickly. She was affectionate, engaged, made time for me, even with her busy schedule. Chose me every day in small ways, and big ones. She chose me. July came around. Brian and I met up at the Point in Fells Point for drinks. We were catching up on life, work, the usual stuff. Then he got this look on his face. "Dude, you're not going to believe this."
What?
Melissa reached out to me last week, asked how you're doing. I took a sip of my beer, genuinely unconcerned, and I told her, "You're seeing someone." She lost it. "What do you mean lost it?" She asked if you were serious with this person. I said, "Yeah, seems like." Righty. She started crying right there in the coffee shop where we met up. She's upset I moved on. She said, and I quote, "He never fought for us. He just gave up." I actually laughed at that. Couldn't help it. I fought for 8 weeks. She didn't notice. That's exactly what I told her. She claimed she would have come around eventually. Eventually after what, a year of rejection? 2 years. She also said the thing that bothers her most is how happy you seem now. I am happy, Brian. Genuinely happy. She's been posting about it too. Passive-aggressive stuff about exes who move on too fast. 3 months after our divorce is too fast. In her mind, you were supposed to wait around. Prove you really wanted her by accepting a sexless marriage, by letting her reject me indefinitely. Logic isn't her strong suit, man. He took a drink, then continued. There's more. She's been going to therapy. Good for her. She told the therapist about the rejection pattern, admitted to all of it, but said she didn't think it was a big deal. Of course she didn't. The therapist apparently explained that it was a big deal. Now, Melissa regrets how she handled things. Now, after she lost me. After she sees me happy with someone else. Exactly. And here's the really ironic part. She's been dating since Scott, but none of them work out. She complains they're not present. They don't commit, they keep their distance. I set my beer down, letting that sink in. So, she's experiencing exactly what she put me through. Karma is a beautiful thing. She's posting about quality time and being present and all the stuff she never gave you. The universe has a sense of humor. Late July, I was walking around the inner harbor with Jennifer. Beautiful Saturday afternoon, just enjoying the weather and each other's company. We were holding hands, laughing about something stupid, completely in our own little world. That's when I saw her. Melissa, standing maybe 20 feet away, frozen in place, staring at us. Jennifer noticed my expression. Change. You okay? Yeah. Just someone I used to know. Melissa walked over before I could redirect us. I could have avoided it, but honestly, I had nothing to hide, nothing to be ashamed of. I'd done nothing wrong. Colin, Melissa. Jennifer looked between us, confused, but polite. I made the introductions, kept my voice casual and calm. Jennifer, this is Melissa, my ex-wife. Melissa, this is Jennifer. I watched Melissa's face go pale. She clearly hadn't expected this. Hadn't expected to see me so happy, so at ease with someone else. Nice to meet you, Jennifer said, warm and genuine because she had no idea who Melissa really was. You too? Melissa managed, but her voice cracked. We stood there for an awkward moment. I could see Melissa taking it all in. The way Jennifer and I stood close together. The way our hands were intertwined. The easy comfort between us. Everything she and I never had, at least not in the last year of our marriage. Well, we should get going. I said, take care. Melissa. I guided Jennifer away, felt Melissa's eyes on us as we walked. Jennifer waited until we were out of earshot. That was your ex-wife? Yeah. She seemed upset, not my problem anymore. Fair enough. You okay? I stopped, turned to face Jennifer, took both her hands in mine. I'm better than okay. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. She smiled, kissed me right there in front of everyone, chose me again in that simple moment. A week later, Brian texted me. Melissa sent you a message. You might want to check. I'd been ignoring the muted messages for months. Had maybe 60 unread texts from her sitting there. I opened the thread, scrolled to the most recent. I understand now. I'm sorry. I stared at those words for a long time. Thought about responding with everything I'd wanted to say for months. Thought about telling her exactly how much she'd hurt me. How many nights I'd spent wondering what was wrong with me. How deeply her rejection had cut. Instead, I typed one sentence. I hope you find what you're looking for. Her response came immediately. I had it. I just didn't realize until it was gone. I read it twice. Felt absolutely nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, no vindication, just nothing. She'd figured it out too late. And that was her problem to carry. Not mine. I didn't respond. Just blocked her number and deleted the entire conversation thread. Closed that chapter completely. She wanted a marriage where I stopped trying, where I didn't pursue her, where I maintained pleasant distance and never pressured her for that other stuff. I gave her exactly what she asked for, my complete and total absence. She celebrated when I quit reaching out, smiled, and told me this is how it should be. So, I packed my bags and made it permanent. Gave her the space she clearly wanted, except it turned out to be more space than she'd anticipated. Now, she understands what she lost. But understanding came too late, after she'd trained me to stop wanting her. After she'd made it clear my affection was a burden. After she'd shown me that marriage with her meant constant rejection and being blamed for wanting connection. She's posting on social media now about finding real love, about partners who show up, about the importance of intimacy and presence. All the things she couldn't give me, all the things she rejected me for wanting. Meanwhile, I found someone who actually wants me around, who doesn't need excuses to avoid me, who doesn't celebrate me. Emotional distance? Who understands that marriage means more than sharing space and splitting bills? Jennifer chooses me every day. When I reach for her hand, she takes it. When I kiss her good night, she kisses me back. When I want to be close to her, she wants it too. Simple things that should be normal in any relationship, but felt like miracles. After 8 weeks of constant rejection, Melissa got exactly what she wanted. A life where nobody pressures her, where she doesn't have to explain her rejections, where she can live exactly as she pleases without anyone making her feel guilty about it. The only problem is she thought I'd always be there, waiting, accepting, patient. She was wrong. What happened after I left still haunts her, not because I left, but because she finally understands what she threw away. She sees me happy with someone else and realizes she could have had that. She just had to want it. She didn't, not when it mattered, and now it's too late. The door she closed so many times is locked permanently. The husband who tried for 8 weeks and got rejected 9 times in 17 days has found someone who actually appreciates him. She had a man who wanted nothing more than to connect with her, to be close to her, to build something real together. She chose distance instead, chose excuses, chose to make him feel wrong for having completely normal desires. Now she gets to live with that choice, gets to scroll through other people's relationships, other people's connections, other people's happiness. She had her chance, had 8 weeks of chances, actually 9 separate opportunities to say yes. Instead of inventing new reasons to say no, she said no every single time, then smiled. When I finally stopped asking, I just gave her what she wanted, a life without me in it. And here's what our team thinks you should actually take away from this. Here's my take. Colin waited way too long, but I get why. When you love someone, you give them the benefit of the right. Believe the headaches and the stress because you don't want to think your partner is lying to your face. But 2 months, by week 5, alarm bells should have been ringing. He should have insisted on couples therapy or a real conversation where he said, "This is becoming a serious problem for me." Instead, he just accepted it until he hit his breaking point. Now, Melissa, she's the villain here. Let's not sugarcoat it. She trained him to stop wanting her, then smiled about it. That's cruel. You don't get to reject someone for months and play victim when they finally leave. What was her endgame? Keep rejecting him forever while he accepts a sexless marriage. Did she think he'd wait around indefinitely for her to come around eventually? That's delusional. She wanted the security of marriage without any of the actual connection. The real lesson: silence destroys relationships faster than arguments ever will. Colin's silence about how much this hurt him, Melissa's silence about what she actually wanted, both choosing comfort over honesty until it imploded. Don't let issues marinate for months. Address them when they're still fixable. Question for everyone: how long is too long to wait before you walk away? And have you ever been the one doing the rejecting without realizing the damage? Let's hear it.